It can be very hard to know if you are talking to a psychopath. They are experts at hiding who they really are. They can seem charming, kind, and trustworthy, but behind their mask, they are very different from what they show you. The truth is, most psychopaths do not look like the scary villains you see in movies. They look like normal people. They could be your coworker, your neighbor, or even someone you are dating. That is what makes them so dangerous. In this video, we will talk about 5 signs you can look for when you are talking to someone. These signs are not always obvious, but if you know what to look for, they can help you see the truth and protect yourself from a lot of pain. I am Dr. Eleanor Whitmore. As a psychologist who has studied human behavior for over 30 years, I have learned that the most dangerous people are often the ones who seem the most normal. I am here to help you understand the hidden warnings that most people miss. Before we get into the signs, it is important to understand what a psychopath actually is. A psychopath is someone who does not have the same feelings as most people. They do not feel guilt when they do something wrong. They do not feel love the way you and I do. They do not feel sympathy when someone is in pain. This is not something they choose. Their brain simply works differently. The part of the brain that handles emotions like guilt, love, and sympathy does not work the same way in a psychopath. Because they do not have these feelings, it is very easy for them to lie, manipulate, and hurt others without feeling bad about it. They are very good at pretending to be normal, which is why they are so dangerous. They have spent their whole lives watching other people and learning to copy normal behavior. They know what to say and how to act to seem like a good person, but it is all an act. The signs we will talk about today are not about what they say, but how they say it, and the strange feelings you get when you are with them. Trusting your gut feeling is very important when you think you might be dealing with a psychopath. The first sign is their intense eye contact. When you talk to a psychopath, you might feel like they are staring right through you. Their gaze can be very intense and uncomfortable. Most people will look away from time to time during a conversation. It is a natural thing we do. We look away when we are thinking, when we feel a strong emotion, or simply because staring at someone for a long time feels rude. A psychopath, however, can hold eye contact for a very long time without looking away. This is sometimes called the predator stare. They use it to make you feel nervous and to show that they are in control. They know that intense eye contact can be powerful. In the beginning, it can make you feel like you are the only person in the world, which can be part of their charm. It can feel flattering, like they are so interested in you that they cannot look away. But over time, it starts to feel different. It starts to feel like they are studying you, trying to figure out your weaknesses. It is not a look of connection or warmth. It is a look of assessment. They are not trying to understand you as a person. They are trying to figure out how they can use you. If you feel like someone's stare is making you deeply uncomfortable, do not ignore that feeling. It is your body's way of telling you that something is wrong. This stare is different from the eye contact of someone who is just confident or interested. A confident person's eyes will often look warm and friendly. You will feel comfortable looking back at them. A psychopath's stare is often described as cold, empty, or black. It is as if you are looking at the eyes of a doll. There is no real emotion behind them. This is because they are not feeling any real emotion. They are just using their eyes as a tool to get what they want. They might also use this stare to intimidate you. If you disagree with them or challenge them in any way, their stare can become even more intense and threatening. It is a silent way of saying, "Do not cross me, do not challenge me." It is a warning without words. So if you find yourself in a conversation where the other person's eye contact feels more like an interrogation than a friendly chat, that is a major red flag. Pay attention to how their eyes make you feel. Your feelings are giving you important information. The second sign is that the conversation always seems to be about them. A psychopath is the center of their own universe. They believe they are the most important, the most interesting, and the most special person in the world, and they expect everyone else to think so too. When you talk to them, you will notice that no matter what the topic is, they will always find a way to bring it back to themselves. If you talk about a problem you are having at work, they will quickly turn it into a story about a time they had a similar but much bigger problem at their job. If you share some good news about a promotion or a personal achievement, they will follow it up with a story about their own, much more impressive success. They are not interested in a two-way conversation where both people share and listen. They are interested in a monologue with you as the audience. This can be very draining. You will leave the conversation feeling like you were not heard at all. You might feel empty and tired, like you just spent an hour listening to someone perform on a stage. This is different from someone who is just a little self-absorbed. We all like to talk about ourselves sometimes. That is normal, but with a psychopath, it is constant and extreme. They have no real interest in your life, your thoughts, or your feelings. They will ask you questions, but not because they care about the answers. They ask questions to gather information that they can use later to manipulate you, or they ask questions just to appear polite before they turn the conversation back to themselves. For example, they might ask, "How was your day?" But before you can even finish your first sentence, they will interrupt with, "That reminds me of what happened to me today." And then they are off on a long story about themselves. Their stories are also often filled with details that make them look good. They are always the hero who saved the day, the victim who was treated unfairly, or the smartest person in the room who outsmarted everyone else. They are always the star of the show. If you feel like you are just an audience member in someone's one-person play and you never get a chance to be heard, you might be talking to a psychopath. The third sign is their talent for finding your weaknesses and using them against you. A psychopath is very good at reading people. They can pick up on your emotions, your insecurities, and your fears very quickly. But they are not reading you to understand you or to help you. They are reading you to find your buttons. They want to know what makes you insecure, what you are afraid of, and what you are ashamed of. In the beginning of the relationship, they will pretend to be a very good listener. They will make you feel safe and encourage you to open up about your deepest secrets and fears. You might feel like you have finally found someone who truly understands you. It feels wonderful, but this is a trap. They are collecting information. Once they have this information, they will store it away and use it against you when the time is right. For example, if you tell them you are insecure about your public speaking skills, they might later make a joke about it in front of other people to embarrass you. If you tell them about a painful memory from your childhood, they might bring it up during an argument to hurt you and make you cry. This is a very cruel and effective way to control you. It keeps you off balance and makes you afraid of upsetting them. You start to walk on eggshells around them, worried that they will use your own secrets to attack you at any moment. A healthy person will respect your vulnerabilities and keep them safe. A psychopath will see them as weapons to be used against you. If you notice that someone seems to have a special talent for saying the one thing that will hurt you the most, at the exact moment it will hurt the most, that is not a coincidence. It is a calculated and deliberate move. The fourth sign is the strange and unbelievable stories they tell. Psychopaths are often pathological liars. This means they lie constantly about everything for no good reason at all. They will tell you stories that seem too good to be true or too strange to be real. They might claim to have had a heroic military career, to be secretly wealthy, or to have connections to famous and powerful people. These stories are designed to make them seem more interesting, powerful, and special than they really are. Because they are so confident and calm when they tell these lies, it can be hard not to believe them at first. They do not show any of the normal signs of lying. They do not look nervous. They do not stutter. And they do not avoid your eyes. They tell their lies with the same ease and confidence that you would tell the truth. But if you listen closely over time, you might start to notice that the details do not add up. Their stories might change slightly each time they tell them, or they might contradict something they said before. If you try to ask them specific questions about their stories, they will often get angry, change the subject, or accuse you of not trusting them. They do not want you to look too closely at their lies. They just want you to be impressed and to believe them. They also tell small, pointless lies. They might lie about what they did over the weekend, what they ate for lunch, or who they talked to yesterday. There is no reason for these lies, which makes them very confusing for a normal person. This is because psychopaths do not see the world in terms of true and false. They see the world in terms of what works for them in the moment. If a lie makes a story better, they will tell it. If a lie gets them out of a small problem, they will tell it. They do not feel the same guilt or shame that most people feel when they lie. This is why they can be so convincing. They can look you straight in the eye and tell a complete lie with a perfectly straight face and a calm voice. If you feel like you are constantly trying to figure out what is true and what is not with someone, if you feel like you are always playing detective, that is a sign that you are being manipulated by a very skilled liar. The fifth sign is the pity story they use to make you feel sorry for them. This is one of a psychopath's most powerful and most commonly used tools. They will tell you a sad story about their past, about how they were abused as a child, misunderstood by their family, or treated unfairly by the world. They will paint themselves as a tragic victim who has had a very difficult and painful life. The purpose of this story is to make you feel sympathy and pity for them. Once you feel sorry for them, you are much more likely to forgive their bad behavior. If they hurt you, you might think to yourself, well, they have been through a lot. It should give them another chance. If they ask you for money, you might be more likely to give it to them because you feel bad for their situation. If they do something cruel, you might excuse it by thinking they are just acting out because of their painful past. This is a trap. While they may have had some difficulties in their life, they are using these stories as an excuse for their current behavior and as a tool to control you. They are using your kindness and your natural ability to feel for others against you. A healthy person does not use their past pain as a weapon to control others. They take responsibility for their own actions, regardless of what happened to them in the past. A psychopath will use their pity story again and again, any time they are about to be held accountable for something they have done. It is their get-out-of-jail-free card. If you find that you are always feeling sorry for someone, even when they are the one who is hurting you, you need to seriously ask yourself if you are being manipulated by a carefully crafted pity story. Recognizing these 5 signs is a very important first step in protecting yourself. If you are talking to someone and you notice their intense, cold stare, that the conversation is always about them, that they seem to know and use your weaknesses, that their stories do not add up, and that they use a sad story to make you feel sorry for them, you need to be extremely careful. These are not just personality quirks or bad habits. They are warning signs of a dangerous and manipulative person. The best thing you can do is to slowly and safely create distance between yourself and this person. Do not confront them or accuse them of being a psychopath. This will likely only make them angry and more focused on controlling you. Instead, become less available, be busy, do not share any more personal information with them, and most importantly, trust your gut feeling. If someone makes you feel consistently confused, scared, drained, or bad about yourself, that is all the information you need. You do not need a professional diagnosis to know that a relationship is unhealthy and harmful, and you have a right to feel safe and respected in every relationship in your life. Thank you for listening.